Today, with the economy getting reset, what a imperative for a CIO is to set up an environment which is agile, which reduces their time to market, and gives them a system which is open and scalable to take on new models of growth or business models. So in this context, I think we need to take this context into cognizance that today for any vendor or any service provider or any outsourcing provider, he's got to keep this context in mind. So in this scenario, some things which are coming out very clearly is that the physical and digital world are converging. The point I'm trying to make here is anything that is there in the infrastructure today, which is part of a physical. For example, in this building, you have a building management system, you got a fire management system, you got a physical security system. These systems are coming to the digital world, and that's opening out a completely different, complex world, complex challenge for the CIO to handle. The other thing happening is the kind of people who are coming to industry or joining the industry are the Gen Y, which I would say the digital natives in the world, and they are way ahead in terms of IT adoption. They are this Web 2.0 generation, and they expect much more from the IT environment than probably we did. So in this environment, the CIO has a completely different challenge altogether. And finally, if you look at the enterprise environment, the innovation is moving from core to the edge. Firstly, today, if you look at from a CEO standpoint, the most imperative thing for him is that can he go global? So can the marketplace be expanded? Because you're looking for growth in a scenario where growths are not uniform across. I mean, if you look at the emerging markets out, rest of the economy is not growing that much. So you got to have a global perspective. You got to have the time to market reduced drastically. So you got to be present in those markets as early as possible, if not yesterday. And finally, again, you need a system which is open and scalable. From that standpoint, I think today a CIO is much closer to the business than he was. In fact, I know in my circle, we've seen CIOs actually taking the role of CEOs, which is a natural gravitation. I can tell you in insurance, in IT services, and even in banks where some of these technocrats are actually taking more business roles, and it's imperative, right? Because firstly, the business models are getting challenged, and business models cannot come with the foundational IT stuff supporting it. So I think it's today the CIO role is completely different. I think it doesn't have to talk about technology as much as he has to talk about business. What you're seeing clearly is video is the next wave. Today if you look at internet, video has taken over as the most prominent traffic pattern than data. And if you look at from a Cisco standpoint, 70% of our internal traffic is on video. And that's the trend we're seeing in enterprise. So video will go down. So data, voice, video converging on one. I think where collaboration is going more is not about what form of channel are you taking. Are you creating the foundation by which you can reach out to your peer, to your colleague, to your subject matter expert on the fly, without the medium being a constraint? It could be data, voice, video. It could be a Web 2.0 platform. It could be any platform, but the person should be available as you wish, as you will. And that's why the collaboration is moving towards. I think that's the next paradigm in collaboration. To put it in a more crisp manner, I think what Facebook has done to the consumer world, I think there will be a Facebook revolution for the enterprise world. What virtualization for the next decade means is abstracting somebody's personal profile and making it available, leveraging network anywhere, anytime. And that's what fundamentally virtualization is moving towards from a desktop standpoint. And it gives you, again, reduced time to market, agility, security, and significant operating expenses cost, which I think is a high priority for the CIO to do. So I think this is one trend which is going to cut across IT services, insurance, BPO, banks. Wherever the processes are standardized and you got delivery vehicles across the globe or across the country, you're going to see this getting adopted faster. We acquired a company called Tandberg, which Tandberg gives us an amazing opportunity to democratize video. So I think we're extremely excited. We saw very good traction on telepresence in India and worldwide. But with Tandberg, we've got a compelling story for a much wider adoption of business video. I think where we're taking the game to the next level is really plugging all this together and giving it what I would say enterprise social software, which can ensure all these tools are available to employees across the globe on the fly. I think that's where the excitement is going to be. So you'll see a lot of good news from our side, and we'll also ensure all that is available on a virtual desktop interface device as well, which could be not only a VDI for a device for the employees, but also be a very potent communication tool, which will connect to any video point, telepresence room in the enterprise scenarios. The first paradigm change for them is their cash cows of last decade are not going to be the cash cows for the next decade. So their traditional service lines are going to get what I would say commoditized for the next decade, which means they have to look at new service lines. And what's happening is, I think the customers are looking for a process dominance or process understanding or domain understanding than really a piece of the contract. So I think that's the paradigm shift. For example, all our Indian leaders need to have far more consultative approach. They'll have to lead with services. And when I'm saying services, more and more, I think the fixed capex model or the circulating capex model will move to the opex model. So anything as a service will become a norm, which means our service providers, our IT service providers will have to look at innovative way of delivering it. So gone are the days when you could set up an onshore-offshore model and drive the growth. Yes, it will continue, but I think in the long run, you will have to create alternative business models or non-linear growth models. I think these are areas that we need to watch out for from the outsourcing industry.